Hey everybody, Chuck Barone, Thursday, September 29th, 2022. A lot of stuff to cover today, guys. This world just keeps getting crazier every single freaking day. Paying attention to this market as much as I have been, it's starting to give me whiplash, guys. It's just the data is so conflicting, weird all over the place, just crazy signs, impossible to figure out what in the hell, what's the message. We already know what's going to happen, but watching all this intrigue going on around it is just fascinating stuff. As always, before we start, I just want to thank all of you guys for your support for the videos and the channel. You guys do it every day for us. We really appreciate it. Special shout out and thank you to my friend and brother, Greg Manarino, my good buddy, my very dear friend, who gave a shout out to his crew yesterday. We got a whole bunch of new subscribers probably tuning in today. We'd also like to welcome you guys, the newer subscribers, to the show. We hope it's everything you want it to be. And if not, of course, you can give us some suggestions in the comments. We want to make this what you guys want and need. And I certainly don't have a monopoly on all the good ideas. In the markets today, stock market down. Just the stock market is having some difficulty with the reality of the way things are going to be here with these higher interest rates and more expensive money. So they're grappling with trying to these analysts, they're probably trying to recompute how that's going to affect bottom lines, how that's, in spite of what everybody says, and certainly sentiment plays a certain thing in how the stock market reacts. But for the most part, the stock market is earnings driven. A company earns a lot of money, their PE ratio is low, typically the stock's going to run up. So it's all about earnings. And I think they're having some difficulty right now trying to figure out where those earnings are going, if they're going to go down, by how much. So they're having difficulty really pricing these stocks, I think, and that's contributing to just the way the market's been swinging all over the place. Yesterday, big up day, today, big down day. It's just what we have here is bad news and confusion. Which is not the best combination for the stock market. The bond market today, some strained support today. Bonds were down small. The 10-year popping up to 3.75% yield. The 2-year at 4.19% yield. That's both up a little bit today. What's happening, I think part of this, we all know that there's likely manipulation going on in this debt market. But one of the things I was reading today and analysts are pointing out is, with pension funds who have a control of trillions and trillions of dollars are pretty much souring now on the stock market. And they're taking a lot of their money out of the stock market and smashing it into the bond market. So that's part of the reason I think we're seeing rates holding steady here as these big entities, and they are humongous, start repositioning money. I don't know if that's a real indicator of where the bond market should be, but it's where it is for today for sure. The dollar today down again. Wow, dollar's getting beat up a little bit lately, but still all the way down to 112 on the index. It's still the champ. This is the equivalent of, you're in a fight with the world heavyweight champ and you actually punch him once. That's basically what this is. The dollar is still the king, and I haven't seen any evidence of anything coming up to challenge it right now. Metals, but the dollar down today, managed to have an up day for gold, creeping up small to $1,661.40 per ounce. Silver has a small down day to $18.90 per ounce. And I've been explaining how this support and resistance works. A lot of times it's around these round numbers. So silver, before its most recent decline, had strong support above $19. It took a while for silver to break down below. It bounced off a couple times before it broke down. Well, now that number, when you go below, becomes the new resistance number. So silver trying to break back up through $19, met a little resistance today, down small. Oil, not a great day for the oil market today. Down day with $81.61 for West Texas Intermediate. That's down small. Natural gas at $6.89 for their million BTUs. They're kind of holding steady. They've been in that same basic trough between $80 and $85 on oil. It had the little dip there down to about $75. Bounced right back up over 80. So here we sit. Bitcoin today down very small, just under 19,500. Bitcoin seems to be moving with the markets these days. So when you see an up day in the stock market, you can kind of guess Bitcoin's going to be up. Same thing for when the market has a down day. Big economic news today you guys need to hear. This is all such conflicting stuff, guys. It's so crazy. So jobless claims come in, and they fall to a 5-month low, beating expectations. The Fed is pointing to that job market as the rally savior, all-powerful thing for our economy right now, and it really does appear strong. I still have no way of finding out exactly what these jobs are, right? I mean, you have so many jobs available. How many of those jobs are burger flipper guy at Burger King, and how many of those jobs are engineer or apprentice or something that's could lead you somewhere, right? And not to bash our fast food friends, but I'm talking about the pay rate to start here significantly higher with professional jobs than starting out at these smaller starter positions, so to speak, which they're not starter positions anymore. But employment leading the way leads me to believe that the Fed is going to keep the pedal to the metal on these rate hikes. I'm starting to believe we're going to get a 3/4 point bump in November, followed probably by a 0.5 point bump in December. Unless something dramatic happens with these inflation numbers, that'll move the Fed funds rate to 4.35%. Wow, that would be, I got to see how the market's going to react to that. I think you'll have a stampede of people buying bonds and moving their money out of the stock market to get rates that are like that, especially on short-term rates. So it's really interesting what's going on, and the competition now between the Fed trying to slow prices down, raising rates, and this job market, which is sizzling hot, leading us, and we've been in this wage price spiral I've been talking about where, businesses have to raise their prices to accommodate people that want more money. So they raise the prices, now they want even more money. So they give it to them, they want to keep the employee, they raise their prices again. It just starts this terrible spiral that once you're in it, it's so difficult to get out of. That was one of the big problems they had in the late 70s into the 80s, and it looks like we're going to be dealing with that again. Jobless. When is good news bad news? When jobless claims come into the 5-month low in an inflationary environment, right? GDP today was revised upward all the way back to through the pandemic. I guess you know how it is, guys. I'm the same way. When the government releases good news, I really have a difficult time believing it. They have a tendency to fluff the news. The funny thing, though, is when they come out with bad news, not only me, but everybody points at that bad news like it's gospel. Kind of a wild conundrum there, but GDP revised upward all the way back to the 2020. Every quarter basically up except the last one. They left it at the negative 0.6 for the second quarter. I checked the Atlanta Fed today. They're still showing a gain in the third quarter GDP of 0.3%. It'll be interesting to see how that finishes over the next couple of days. I'm guessing that'll be the big GDP report they'll have next week for the Fed. The one thing I got a little bit of a complaint today before I go into my commentary. I saw a little blurb in the newspaper today saying that they're giving another, just not a lot of money, but another $1.1 billion to Ukraine. I think we're well over $60 billion now. I'm just wondering, how are they justifying these numbers? Because, if you look at what's happening around the world, so many people could use our help, right? If you look at, and I'm not a big fan of the country, but if you look at Pakistan and what happened with that country, with the flooding they've been dealing with, 1/3 of the entire country is underwater, guys. Underwater. They can't function. The economy is totally crashed out, done. They got people starving. They can't get to people because of the flooding. It's a massive disaster there. Why would we not have some of our money there trying to make friends of these people instead of being enemies in perpetuity with them? I don't understand it. If you got $60 billion for Ukraine to buy weapons or sending weapons with and along with money, you would think you could find a little bit more money for the flood-ravaged Pakistan. And interesting stuff today I would like you guys to hear about before I sign off today. Very interesting stuff today. I read an article. Now this one blew me out, guys. It's not really finance rated, so it's not going to help you make any extra money, but I just thought this was interesting to give you an idea of where we are right now as a society. I was reading that 2 of the top executives at eBay, 2 of their top executives, one was the head of security and the other was his henchman, head of something else, were sentenced to prison today. Wow, okay, right? So why? So I go digging into this, and what happened is there's a Massachusetts couple, and I'll leave their name out of this, who have a newsletter they put out. It's kind of like a Consumer Report newsletter, and they were being very critical of eBay. So the CEO decided that they needed to get brought down a peg, and they started this security chief and his henchmen started this long-term harassment deal, and they were doing the craziest stuff to these people. I mean, just crazy, crazy stuff. Some of the things they did, okay, check this out, guys. They sent them a package, a box full of cockroaches. Now, can you imagine opening that box in your kitchen and a Brazilian cockroaches come running out of that box? Or they did this, they sent them a funeral wreath with their names on it. They sent them a bloody Halloween pig mask, along with a whole bunch of additional stuff they did to harass this couple over a period of years. So their security chief, this guy named Ba, he got sentenced to 57 months in prison. Man, that's a long term, bro. That's more than 4.5 years in prison for this, and has a restitution bill of $40,000. And his henchman, this Harville guy, he got sentenced to 24 months and $20K restitution. 7 other people are charged, waiting their trials. This is something that's just amazing to me, that a company as big and powerful as eBay can't stand a little criticism from a company that's a basic newsletter out of Massachusetts, and they stoop to tactics like this. Nice to see justice be done in this one, guys. Also today, in real estate news, some shocking news today. Not to you if you've been watching the show, but I read an article today. They were talking about the 10 markets with the largest price cuts in real estate. These 10 markets are, pay attention here because it might be one of you. Number 1, Phoenix. Number 2, Austin. Number 3, Las Vegas. Yay, top 5. Number 4, Denver. Number 5, Sacramento. Number 6, Dallas. Number 7, Tampa. Number 8, Nashville. Number 9, Portland. Number 10, Jacksonville, Florida. These are the metro areas. I talked about yesterday that 77% of metro areas are seeing a reduction in prices. These were the leaders with more than, okay, what they did, they don't actually talking about price here. They're talking about the percentage of people who've reduced their price on the multiple listing service. And all of these areas are between 26 and 44% cutting prices. So this is like the beginning of the end for real estate, guys. We've been talking about it since we started this blog back in June. You know what's coming. Real estate's going to lead the parade of this recession disaster. Hunker down like we've been telling you guys. Be safe, be careful, be cautious with your money, not only investing it, but spending it. Be thoughtful. Do the right things now, and you'll get through this recession okay. And when we come out the other side, it'll probably look like a different world, but after every recession, there's bargains. And finally, to finish it up today, just some weird, more conflicting information in Las Vegas. I was reading in the Las Vegas Free Journal today that another record-breaking month for Harry Reid Airport. So every single month now for the past 4 months have been record numbers of people coming to Las Vegas. I know the prices on the Strip have been going up like crazy. Where is the recession here, guys? I mean, Vegas is usually, people are still going to come to Vegas during a recession, but not typically in record numbers. So this is just another confusing sign of what in the hell's going on here. And another sign, a very large mortgage company from Las Vegas. They're a nationwide company, Finance of America Mortgage. I read today, closing all their offices in Las Vegas. Now this is a big company. I think they're Blackstone or BlackRock or one of the Stone Rocks backed. And if they're pulling the plug, you know, they have 3 big offices in town, I believe. If they're pulling the plug, really bad stuff coming from real estate, guys. Anyway, that's what we have for today. Tomorrow we'll wrap up the week. Tomorrow is Friday, right? And we'll go through everything, give you a little bit of an idea of what we can expect next week. It's just next week will be interesting because it'll be the beginning of the month rather than the end. So we'll have all kind of data coming out of the last quarter, as well as the this past month of September. So stay tuned, guys. As always, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like. Ask your questions in the comments. Comment, of course. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit the notifications. And as always, if you have a stronger question, a more complex question, ask Chuck Barone at gmail.com. Big day tomorrow, guys. Take care. Till we talk then. Thanks.